Welcome, everyone, to another Fresh Crack Live. I'm Will from the PodCask. Join you here on a lovely Tuesday evening, and I'm going to get into something I haven't had in quite some time, or something that I've never had in this case. It's something I'm going to do a fresh crack of, so you're going to get my first impressions, and I hope you enjoy it, and I hope I enjoy it, as a matter of fact. But we're here tonight. I did want to mention a few things. If you're just watching for the first time, you stumbled upon me somehow, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Give me a like while you're at it, and ring the bell if you would like to get notifications of whenever I go live. Last night, Grease and I recorded a show. It was a lot of fun. You can check out the replay of that. And also, we are doing another live, our Drinking With show, on Thursday of this week. It's going to be with the Bourbon Junkies. A lot of you follow them. A lot, and by a lot, I mean a lot of you follow them. So you're not going to want to miss it. It's going to be a raucous time as usual. So what I've got here tonight is something that I have not had, and it is a Pinhook Straight Rye that is a store pick from Elixir Spirits in Spring Hill, Tennessee. It has this blue wax top on it. I'm a big fan of wax dip stuff, and I was thinking about it because I had not had this, and I have it in my collection. I've had rye from Pinhook before, but I had not had this particular one. And we were at Kentucky Artisan Distillery a couple weeks back. We told you when we were up there for our whiskey weekend meetings, Grease and I stopped in there, and they actually do bottling for Pinhook. So we saw where they were doing some of the wax dipping, and they had a kind of a lime green wax going on. But it made me think of it that I need to crack this open. And because it's a fresh crack, you'll get to see me open the wax and hopefully not make a complete fool of myself. But we're going to check it here tonight. So I'm going to try to get into this wax. May have to use my teeth. Here we go. So cracking it open slowly but surely. There we go. Got the wax off. Had some pressure there. All righty. So, I've got it here in the glass, and it is, let's see, true single barrel, 111.9 proof. This is bottle number 42 of 221, so a pretty good yield on that. Selected by Elixir Spirits. It has the horse name Rye Humor on it, and they name their bottles after different race horses. So it's got nice like jockey silk pattern on the bottle. 111 proof straight rye. I don't see an age statement, but it looks like they picked it with it says at least 3 years old in new charred oak barrels. So we know it's at least a 3-year rye. Could be older than that. But if there is any sort of other sticker, it's behind this Field of Dreams TriStar Barrel King sticker. That's an aftermarket sticker added. So I'm going to get to it. So we've got JG on here saying the Pinhook reviews I have seen have been mixed. So I have one somewhere over there it's a green bottle, one of the first ryes they came out with, I believe. And we didn't think it was too bad. It wasn't too expensive. It was a young rye, so it had some of that grassiness to it, but it wasn't bad, you know. All right, the nose is pretty young rye, kind of grassy, like I was mentioning earlier. A little, I don't get that like dill pickle that a lot of people get. It's got some sweetness to it. It's not bad. Getting some alcohol on the nose, just like a pure alcohol aroma. I'm going to try to think about what I'm tasting for a minute, but at 111 proof, that's a really good proof. Actually pretty high. And for it being a little bit younger, it doesn't drink that hot. So that's a positive to me. If you're going to have a pretty astringent, younger whiskey, that's sometimes a turnoff, right? But it's not. It really doesn't drink that hot. I'm telling you, it's got some sweetness to it that I'm trying to place. A little bit creamy. JG asked, any black licorice? Let me see. Ever so slight. I mean, when you're asking me, is there any black licorice there? And I'm searching for it. On the finish, I get kind of that. Black licorice almost has a slight metallic finish to it. Not overly like iron or something, but just a slight tinge of that. I get that on the finish. Not so much on the palate. The palate is fairly sweet for what I was going for. Now, you ask if it's high rye. Let me see if there's anything I can deduce from the bottle. It does say distilled in Lawrenceburg, Indiana. So, as Eric referenced earlier, the picks are MGP, right? Yes. If it's distilled in Lawrenceburg, Indiana, this is an MGP rye, which is going to be a high rye. So this isn't like what you think of when you think of maybe a Rittenhouse or something of that nature that's a lower rye, more of like a near bourbon. But it's definitely high rye, but it's not too funky. It has a more sweetness that I would be expecting if there was more corn in it, but there apparently isn't. And yeah, 95.5 is that traditional, what you think of MGP rye mash bill. I'm a fan of it. I think I paid around $60 for it. So that's kind of the problem, though. It's $60 for like a younger rye product, 3-ish years. It's a barrel pick. It's cast strength. It's not bad. If I were to put it on a buy bar pass, I'd probably say bar. I don't mind younger ryes and the way younger ryes taste. What is that? There's something I'm hung up on. It's like a little bit of a fruit note in the middle of it, which I just can't place it. But yeah, I'd say it's overall, it's a pleasant drinker. I think a barrel pick of it is cool. I love the jockey silks. I love the label that you can get with the horse in action with the jockey, the diamond kind of Carolina blue and matching wax. That's just pretty. That's aesthetically pleasing to put on your home bar. And I think if I were to put it up against kind of that other realm, probably the same tier price point as well as age, what do I think of? I think of Peerless. I think of Willet, the small batch ryes you can get. And I'm trying to think of anything else that would be younger rye, higher dollar. Obviously, there's a good amount of MGP sourced products out there that you can probably put around that same level. But I'm happy with it. I think it's a really pleasant drinker. It's not overly in your face with the alcohol or with the kind of sometimes the off-putting notes like the dill or the licorice or things that some people aren't a fan of. Obviously, there's a whole host of drinkers that's what they're looking for. So I'd say it's a pretty straight down the middle strike of a young rye, single barrel, good proof on it. It's probably a bar for me. I'd probably lean like the Willett Family Estate because for the dollar amount, you're now getting age stated 4 years on a lot of those. So I think they still have some 3 years out there, but I mean, it's a 4-year product at this point. So I'd probably lean towards that, but I wouldn't necessarily think it's a bad drinker. Bo mentions that you can get Whistle Pig for not too much more. That is fair. That is a fair point. Whistle Pig picks can be all over the board for me. This, and also, I mean, not too much more, but in some cases, like a Whistle Pig 10, which you're looking at 10 year at that point, right? So like the Whistle Pig 10 year is like $120. I think this was 60 or 70. So almost double. So 2 bottles for one. But on the same token, yeah, you're then getting 10-year age stated whiskey, which is completely different animal. I think because of that, though, because rye has its place with the younger rye and older rye, like you're almost drinking 2 different whiskeys at that point. Younger rye has a pleasantness about it. There's something that people seek out in younger rye, and why there's a lot of younger ryes that get a lot of acclaim, whereas opposed to a 2-year bourbon, you're going to turn your nose up at. You're not really going to be a fan of. So I think when I look at rye, I think of the young. There's like 3 tiers, right? There's the younger ryes, which we're seeing a lot of. We're seeing 2-year, 3-year, 4-year. Then you've got the kind of the mid-range, which is the 6 to 8 year old range. And you think of Thomas H. Handy, and you think of the Jack Daniel's barrel proof rye those are those 6-year-old ryes that just have this developed maturity, but also this intense flavor of rye that still shines through. And then you get into the older rye, so 10 plus years, and you go all the way up to like Saz 18. And that rye is taking on so much of the sweetness and barrel characteristics that it becomes a completely different whiskey altogether. That there's really, the parallel in bourbon isn't as cut and dry, where you've got great products at young distillate, you've got great products in the mid tier, and then you've got great products in the upper tier. They're to me all completely unique and different. That I like them all. So I do see that, but I don't even look at a 10-year-old and a 3-year-old rye whiskey in the same kind of light, because I'm looking at them for different reasons. I'm going to look down here and see if I have any more. So 813 Whiskey House was our buddy Corey. He's saying, so is it a borrow? Well, the good news about Tennessee is that a lot of the state stores in the state, you can try it if they have a tasting bar, if it's that kind of establishment that lets you try before you buy. And so I would encourage you to do that. But if you like younger rye whiskey and you like that kind of Willett Family Estate level of drinker, or if you've had Pinhook products before, I like it because it's the higher proof. The one I had prior was, I think it was only $35, so it wasn't very expensive, but it was in the 90s. I think it was 92 proof. I don't remember which rye it was, but like I said, still very good. I enjoy it. It's something I'll drink on. I'm not like upset about doing a fresh crack on it, but it does carry that caveat of, if you're not a fan of younger rye flavors, just don't go for it. So Bo says Total Wine has Whistle Pig 10 for $75. Well, Whistle Pig 10 is significantly more expensive here than it is. I believe you said you're in New York, Brooklyn, maybe, Bo, and your Total Wine is selling that for a good price. I would pick that up for sure. Let's see. We've got barrel strength seems like the only hook, no pun intended. 60 seems high to me. I agree with your assessment. Right, like their lower proof ryes aren't going to be that high a price. Like I think they're $35, which is fine. I think that's a really good price. But if you're putting it up next to the Willett Family Estate 3 and 4 year rye that are cask strength also, or batch strength rather, because they're not single barrel, it's going to be $50, $60, $70, depending on where you're buying it. So it's not like they are completely out of their minds with the pricing of this. But once again, whiskey prices are creeping, man. They keep going straight up and up, and it's time to, rein those back in, and we'll see what happens. But that's going to do it. Let me see if I got any more questions here. Catch me up. What are we drinking? Well, Ty, you're just going to have to go back and watch, because I'm coming to the end, because I'm going to go do a virtual bar night with my virtual bar night friends. If you have no idea what that is, it's where podcasters, we get together, we hang out, we do virtual drinking party with our good friends, but we also have the town hall level. So virtual bar night are people that have been around. They got in early. It's a sold out tier of our Patreon at patreon.com/thepodcast. We have town hall, which is very similar, and it's all the virtual bar night group plus other folks that are coming in, and you can check that out. We do them a couple times a month. They are super fun. A lot of times they go late into the night, and a lot of whiskey is poured, and you will make the best friends you've ever had. We keep saying, Grease and I and a lot of people in the group, that the friends we have made from virtual bar night in town hall are now friends that are some of our closest friends in the world, and we continue to grow and get to know them better. And this last year, having that touch point, that outlet, having friends that are interested in the same stuff as we are, was invaluable. Like, I really don't know how living through the pandemic year of 2020 would have been without this group of great people. So if you're interested in getting to know people more, learning more about whiskey, but also making new friends in a safe virtual environment, check out the town hall level of our Patreon. It's patreon.com/thepodcast. And it's one of the tiers there. There's some other tiers there if you just want to support us in that way, that you can get some swag. But the town hall level is really probably one of the best values in the world, because you're going to make friends out of it. So check that out once again. Also, if you're interested in Whiskey Weekend at all, you only have a few days left to sign up. Whiskey Weekend is the event that Grease and I do once a year in Kentucky. We have done it for the past 2 years. This will be our third. It is April 22nd through 25th in Louisville this year. We've previously done it in Harrodsburg, Kentucky at the Beaumont Inn, but we are moving it to Louisville this year. And we are going to have, imagine all the things I just said about virtual bar night and town hall, but in person, where you're going to get to meet some of the coolest people in the world, make some of your new best friends that you'll never lose contact with. You're going to become lifelong friends, and you're going to have some of the best whiskey you've ever imagined. Things that you can't just buy, things you'll never be able to buy, and things that will never happen again. You will stay up late and become best friends with new people. You will have memories that last a lifetime, and you will forget just as many memories as you made. So there's also that plus. It's a great weekend. We call it summer. We call it summer camp for adults, and it's just a weekend in April in Louisville, Kentucky this year. And you have a small window left to sign up. We're close to sold out, but we have a few spots. There's some people that had to cancel, and there was a few spots left open. Check it out. Go to whiskeytainment.com. So the word whiskey, the American way, with the E, not the Maker's Mark way. Whiskeytainment. So it's like whiskey entertainment. Whiskeytainment.com, and you get the sign-up sheet there. Inquire about it. Grease will get you a quote instantly, and don't miss out, because every year we see people posting in Podcasters group, posting on our comments places like, man, I see the Whiskey Weekend stuff, and I just really wish I had gone, wish I could go. FOMO is a real thing. It's going to be a blast. We just went up and had meetings about it about 2 weekends ago, and learned a lot more about the space we're going to be in and all this stuff, and you're not going to want to miss it. It's going to be a blast. And like I said, the intangibles of the weekend, the things we can't put a line item on, are the things that you're going to look back on and be like, I had the best weekend of my life, and I'll never, ever again have another opportunity like that. And then we'll be like, but wait, there's batch 4. So check it out. Whiskeytainment.com is how you sign up. You only have a few days left. Go do it there. Other than that, folks, I'm going to look down here. And let's see, just became a patron number 100. Bo, thank you. Do you get a prize? We'll see what we can do. Ian will be FOMOing like crazy from across the border. Don't miss out on Whiskey Weekend Batch 3. Ian is one of the things I'm most sad about Whiskey Weekend Batch 3 is that he won't be able to come this time because it involves crossing borders, and that's not something you can really easily do right now, but he'll be there for Batch 4. Cody, going to be FOMOing from 4 hours away, maybe next year for you. I know you'll be there, my friend. You won't let us down in the future. Ian, I suspect that you'll be getting quite a few FaceTime calls. That's accurate. Let's see. Click the like button and then head over to the podcast Patreon. You'll love it. Thank you, 813 Whiskey House. By the way, 813, this is before I end this because I got to go do a virtual bar night, but 813 Whiskey House is our buddy Corey, and he just started a really cool series, and he's done 2 of them so far, and they're fantastic, and it's called Good Booze, Good News, and he drinks something and tells a heartwarming story, and we all need more positive things like that. Like, I can sit here and do a review and maybe bash some whiskey or talk well about whiskey, and that's fine. But he's doing that, but then giving you some positivity, and I think it's great. So go over to his channel. It's 813 Whiskey House, and watch those and subscribe because they're incredible. They're really good. He's a really talented friend of mine, and he and I have gotten to be close because of virtual bar night, Whiskey Weekend. No, you didn't get to come to Whiskey Weekend. I'm sorry, Southern Whiskey Society when he came here, and town halls and things of that nature. But to give a little bit of an anecdote of why town hall and virtual bar night are so fun, we met in person the first time because he got a little too drunk on a virtual bar night and then was convinced by everyone to go purchase plane tickets to come to Southern Whiskey Society in Franklin, Tennessee. And he did. And then he stayed in an Airbnb with Ian and with Jason and Natalie, of which he'd only met virtually. Sorry, I just hit my microphone. He'd only met him virtually through our hangouts on Virtual Bar Night and Town Hall. And now they are lifelong friends, and they had this entire bonding thing, and all because he had a little bit too much whiskey to drink and bought a plane ticket. So that's a selling point for it. There's the price that it costs to be that patron level, but then the next level is that you're gonna have to spend a lot more because you're gonna accidentally buy a lot of plane tickets. So you can go hang out with your new friends. But that's gonna do it for this Fresh Crack Live. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. Go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already. I'd really appreciate it. Give it a thumbs up so that it looks like people actually like this video. And I'll join you next time. Actually, if you're watching, don't miss Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern, March 11th. It's 3/11 day, so you know it will be going down. Check us out. We'll have the Bourbon Junkies. That's going to do it. I got to get off of here before I embarrass myself anymore. Y'all have a good one. Bye.